Welcome to Listen in 3D, episode number 47. I'm your boy Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
And together we are both Team 3D, the hosts of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and the albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. Do us a favor before going any forward. If you like this video, just give it a like, a thumbs up, thumbs down, however you want to do it. Definitely subscribe, share it around, and leave us comments and feedback as well. We all love that on here. And then if you want to help us out one step further, do us a favor, click on that notification bell. That way, you get notifications when we go live with all our episodes. We typically do every Wednesday and the final Saturday of the month, unless it's 5 Wednesdays in that month. So just a little bit of our scheduling protocol and how we do things. We may do a hiatus from time to time, so don't be alarmed. Just check out the community tab on the YouTube page to see what's going on with all that stuff. Anyway, today we're doing a bit of a classic, arguably one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. I've listened to it several times, and just even if he's not your favorite artist, you definitely do gotta respect his delivery, his lyricism, everything that he brings with that. I mean, it's a pretty deep album that we're about to discuss today. Um, how did you take it? Anything you want to say before we jump into it?
I think I know it's regarded as a groundbreaking album, but I guess for me it was hard to see the groundbreaking because so many people have most of the hip hop I've been exposed to kind of took whatever he had and ran with it.
Hmm.
So it was kind of normal to me the things he was doing on here. So really, I guess I was trying to pick apart and see. I was trying to tease apart what was groundbreaking. So I thought
Okay.
it was an interesting process.
Yeah, it was a good album. So let's discuss with the people what we're talking about today.
So today we'll be discussing Nas's debut album, Illmatic. It was released on April 19th, 1994. It was certified 2 times platinum. It peaked at number 1 on the R&B and hip hop album charts and number 12 on the Billboard 200. It has singles including Halftime, It Ain't Hard to Tell, Life's a Bitch, The World Is Yours, and One Love. And there were music videos for Halftime, It Ain't Hard to Tell, The World Is Yours, and One Love. There was guest appearances by AZ, Oludara, and Q-Tip.
All right, thank you for that. So, going to the cells, when I was doing research on this album, it did not, just I guess the weekly or the initial units that came out, it didn't really do that well. And the singles I know didn't really, do that well either in terms of, just popularity. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I first started listening to hip hop, like the next year, 95, 96, I really didn't hear too much of Nas. At least this album, I didn't hear this until like later. If I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't watch MTV like that until later. So my first exposure to Nas was really his next album, which was "It Was Written." The single he did with Lauryn Hill, "If I Ruled the World." That was like really my first exposure to Nas, if I'm being perfectly honest. So yeah, just yeah, that's so yeah. These songs were just like, I mean, all of them are fire songs. So I mean, we're gonna have a pretty good discussion and what was the best song and yeah, just low key. I wish we could discuss them all, but just due to time constraints, we don't got that much time throughout our day. But 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 definitely Nazir Jones, Nasty Nas, whatever you want to call him. Great lyricist. Definitely he definitely helped swing the East Coast, put it back on the map in terms of it being a hip hop mecca, because especially 93, 94, where a lot of that was going to the West Coast, Death Row in particular. He kind of brought in that new fire, what was going on in East Coast hip hop, and he did a good job, and he kind of ground broke just a lot of things with this, and I think there's definitely like a list of albums I found. I'll go through them real quick. There's only 10 albums that I found that took a lot of inspiration from this, so I'll just read them off real quick. Just have a little bit of fun. Some of these albums we've already done. Some of them we will be doing pretty soon. Ready to Die by the Notorious B.I.G. This one definitely took inspiration from this. It came out, several months later, so same year. Um, Resurrection by Common Sense, as he was going by at the time, or Common. The infamous Mob Deep. We've done this album before too. AZ, Do or Die, or no, Do or Die, excuse me. And he's one of the guest appearances on this album. Jay Z, Reasonable Doubt. That's an album we'll be doing sometime later on down the line. Not anytime soon. We already did a Jay Z album. Ghostface Killah's Iron Man. And then even West Coast artists also. The Games, the documentary. J. Cole's Friday Night Lights. Joey Badass 1999. And last but definitely not least, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. So it's just a little thing I found off of XXL website of albums that were influenced by this one that we're doing here. So figured I'd read that off. And just as for Nas, definitely just over the years, just hearing his stuff. One Mike's a very good song. Got Yourself a Gun, very very good song in terms of singles. But I haven't really dipped into his catalog this deep like this. So definitely, I know I would like to do another Nas album at some point. Maybe we'll do something a little more, maybe something outside of the '90s. But for the most part, I think we will be doing another Nas album as long as this show is going. Anyway, I think we were talking before the show. I think you got it. I think you got this album confused with Stillmatic. This is Illmatic. So anyway, you got anything to say on Nas, Nasty Nas, Nazir Jones, whatever you want to call him?
Yeah, yeah. Probably my favorite songs are by him are "If I Ruled the World," "One Mic," and "America." I've always really liked him. He's just very poetic, and of course, "Ether" was a classic. I love that.
Yeah, that was a very good
Um,
one.
yeah, but I had never heard this album. I heard a lot about it, but I had never actually heard it. So I was excited to see what he was doing at his debut.
Yeah, yeah, it was very poetic, very lyricism, just on a different level, especially for a time with what anyone was doing on the East Coast anyway. So definitely very good artist. If you have not checked them out, which I highly doubt, well, maybe there's some hip hop fans out there who haven't checked out any of Nas' stuff. Definitely check out his catalog. Just big, big cat, huge catalog. Still making music to this day. I mean, there's a lot of artists I like to go through. So I mean, I know sometimes you got to be a music guru to go through a lot of these artists' catalogs. But yeah, if you get a chance, if you can only do one album from Nas, I'd recommend this one. Only 10 songs, about 40 minutes, if that. Pretty short and sweet. So, all right. So, what artwork? I thought it was pretty cool. Childhood photo of him and the Queensbridge projects behind him. What did you have any thoughts on this in terms of artwork?
Yes, I really like the artwork. I saw in an interview from 1994, Yo MTV Raps interview, he said there was a reason that he chose this particular picture that's of him at the age of 7. He says that was the year I started to acknowledge everything. That's the year that set everything off. That's the year I started seeing the future for myself and doing what was right. And that was interesting to me because from what I can remember of my frame of mind at 7, it was certainly not future oriented or in anything on that level. So I thought that was really interesting. And beyond that, I thought this was one of the things that I referenced early on, that I see it as almost normal now, that but he started this trend of putting your childhood picture on the album cover. A few months later, like you said, Biggie would release his with his kid pic on the cover, and
That
then
was more of a baby picture, but
Common,
yeah.
yeah, and then Common in 1997, he would release an album, One Day It All Makes Sense, with his kid picture, and then Lil Wayne and the
Yeah.
Carter 3, 4, and 5 baby pictures, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City kid picture, and then Eminem and J. Cole. I think it's kind of a little bit of a tangent, but they put their childhood homes on the Marshall
Yeah.
Mathers LP and 2014 Forest Hills Drive, just
Yeah.
almost making it an autobiographical album. So I thought it's very impactful, but it's like, I don't know, when I see it, I'm just like, oh, that's just like all the others. But I'm like, oh my god,
No.
but he started it, so
Yeah, I
it's
don't think there was any album cover like it before this. I don't. Yeah, artists weren't putting their childhood homes or yeah, yeah, or yeah, their baby pictures or schools school pictures on album covers like that. So yeah, he definitely did start the trend, in terms of that. So definitely big ups to him there. So he influenced a lot of artists that came after him in a lot of ways, and yeah, just the album cover alone, he just went ahead and did that. So, but yeah, so that's pretty unique on him. So definitely big ups to him. I thought album cover itself, I thought it was, very good. Just get you get an idea of where he's from, and what he's about. And um, 7 years old, I was in what, first, second grade, maybe. I was just living my life, having fun. I wasn't thinking about taking the world seriously, what I'd be doing, for money when I became older and all that stuff. So yeah, that's really what any kid should be doing. Just they should be living their best years. Just I remember a friend of mine told me, this is the best time of our lives right now. So it's like,
when y'all were still kids, they
yeah,
said
yeah, yeah. He told me this
that.
when we were kids, actually. So, so I mean, and I look back on it, yeah, yeah, it kind of was like, I mean, I make money now. I can virtually do maybe whatever I want to now, but just I don't have to, I mean, I do my best not to worry about stuff, but sometimes as an adult, you do have that little worry, some stuff like, oh, what's gonna happen next? I mean, not to say that I'm living on tough times or anything like that, but sometimes it's just the basic stuff that comes with being an adult, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but that was a very good album cover. So, big ups to him. I would have to say, yeah, it has to be one of the better ones I've seen since we've done this show. So that definitely gotta give him props on that
Yeah.
one. All
You
right.
you can definitely tell he put a lot of thought into it. So
Yeah.
that's always good.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Some of the bad ones we've seen can probably take lessons from this one, but I guess it's too late now because the album's already out. So, all right. We get into beats, and the production was pretty good. He kind of went all over the place with the production, but with it being his debut album, you could expect that. He had production from. He did a little bit of production himself. DJ Premier, LES, Large Professor, Pete Rock. Just Q-Tip also produced the song "One Love," and that is a Q-Tip type song too. So, but I don't think it was the best beat. I would have to say, for me, the best beat. Uh, it's a tie between "Memory Lane" or "Sitting in the Park," whatever you want to call that song, and I am a big Michael Jackson fan. I love how um, Large Professor did that Michael Jackson sample with which was what was that song? Human Nature. that Human Nature sample. Great Michael Jackson song. It was off his Thriller album, so I liked how he did that one. But all the beats on it were really, really good, in my opinion. I can even give a shout out to a runner up to "Life's a Bitch." That was also a pretty good one, and "The World Is Yours." But yeah, just so many good beats. Kind of hard to decide, but I would have to say, yeah, just the Michael Jackson one. Maybe it's cheating because it's a obvious sample, but what do you got? What do you got? What are you going with?
I landed on "It Ain't Hard to Tell" as my favorite, but I really enjoyed the piano on "New York State of Mind,"
Hmm.
and also in the same 1994 Yo MTV Raps interview. He talks about how Large Professor introduced him to each producer on his album, and he says it was live because each one of them knew exactly what they wanted to hear when they heard me rhyme.
Hmm.
I didn't have to explain anything to them. It was there. So that's pretty apparent. Like the beats were really good.
Yep. Yeah, the beats were real good for the most part, and yeah, Premier did that New York State of Mind, so it was gonna be he was gonna bring the heat, especially during that time. So, um, all right. So now we're gonna go discuss the singles. For the interest of time, it did have five singles, like Netta had said earlier. But for the interest of time, we are gonna discuss "The World Is Yours," "It Ain't Hard to Tell," and "Life's a Bitch." We're gonna discuss those three. So since "It Ain't Hard to Tell" was our favorite beat, let's get into that one. What do you like about that one? I'll let you kick it off.
Um, I'll start with like the music video. The first thing I noticed when I was looking at the music video is how young Nas looked. I guess he's like 20, 19, 20 at that time.
I think it's
But
20, 21, yeah, something like that.
he didn't have like a youthful voice. It's still the same like grown man Nas voice, but he looks very immature. But none of the subjects matters were immature. I liked verse one when he says, "In my physical, I can express through song, delete stress like Motrin, then extend strong." I like the medication bars, and I like how he's just explicitly saying that he can express himself through song. I watched his 2014 documentary called Time is Illmatic, and he talks about although he didn't really like school, he had a teacher who who noticed that he could really express himself through art because he like made a project and she knew he was upset that day and he was supposed to um, match the mask to his feelings, and the art teacher was like, wow, he's really good at expressing himself. So I like that he mentions that in the song.
Yeah, this song, yeah, he really does express himself very well, very very well. I like in the second verse, "It ain't hard to tell. I kick a skill like Shaquille holds a pill. Vocabulary spills. I'm ill plus matic. I freak beats, slam it like Iron Sheik, jam like tech with correct techniques." So I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely Shaquille O'Neal and Iron Sheik, who was an old WWF wrestler, may him rest in peace, in the same verse, same rhyme. That's pretty crazy. That guy was just so ahead of his time lyrically, so ahead of his time lyrically. So I mean, that was definitely one of my favorite snips from the song, and definitely with the whole sample, with the chorus, I thought that was done very well also. But very very entertaining song, very poetic. He definitely does a lot here. All right. Let's move on to "Life's a Bitch and Then You Die." Well, not in those words. Let me pull up my lyric sheet. Uh, let's see. I love yeah, "Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high, 'cause you never know when you're gonna go." I think AZ really killed the course with this one. I mean, I think he did a real good job there. It was nice of Nas, to let him, get some of the glory on that song. But definitely a great beat. And then I also do lyrically, at least from Nas, I like the part where he was like robbing foreigners, take their wallets, their jewels, and rip their green cards. Dipped to the projects, flashing my quick cash, and got my first piece of ass, smoking blunts with a hash. So thought that was pretty cool. Pretty dope lyric, pretty dope rhyme there. Um, anyway, and then anything from AZ that he did. Oh no, but I also do want to point out Olu Dara. I watched that interview you sent me. I think it was the same one. Yeah, I believe it was Olu Dara, his dad, and he that music that was playing at the end of the song. Apparently, that was him. He wanted him to be on the track apparently, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably a first, for at least for this podcast, was like we got a father and a son together, featuring a dad on the track. I thought that was very cool, and like you, I really liked AZ's his verse and the hook.
Yeah, the hook
It
was
was
very good. I love the hook.
Yeah, I think it was probably my favorite hook on the whole album, even though Nas wasn't even on it. It's like
Yeah.
life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high, because you never know when
When you're
you're gonna
gonna go?
go.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I liked AZ's verse when he said, "Keeping this Schwepper Vescent street ghetto essence inside us because it provides us with the proper insight to guide us." I
Mm.
really loved that. Um, I I liked at the end when Nas says time is illmatic, keeps static like wool fabric, because he goes on to name the documentary I was talking about. Time is in illmatic,
Mm.
and he says, when I made Illmatic, I was trying to make the perfect album. I was trying to make you experience my life. I wanted you to look at hip hop differently. I wanted you
Yeah.
to feel that hip hop was changing and becoming something more real. I gave you what the streets felt like, sounded like, tasted like, smelt like, and I tried to capture it like no one else could. So I love that he referenced, he used a lyric from this album and like
Mm.
made a whole documentary out of it. I thought that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Very good song. Too bad it didn't have a music video, but it's all
Yeah,
good. Well, I mean, there are live performances of the song, but I mean, nothing I could find, at least music video wise. If there is one out there, just shoot it our way, folks. And then last but not one of the biggest songs on the album, definitely the biggest single when I was doing my research on this. The world is yours. Whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is yours. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. that was a very that was a very unique chorus. With the same documentary, how he came about this song is Pete Rock, he was uncredited when, I was going through the features, but he wanted him to sing that part. And I think he was a little weirded out, like, because Pete Rock usually doesn't sing. And it's just like, you want me to sing it? Really? Like, whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is yours. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Yeah, just them going back and forth with it. I thought it was a very interesting hook. I think the life's a bitch hook is a little better than this one, but I mean, it was still a good one. And then just lyrically, definitely, I love how he starts it out. T- um I sipped a Dom P watching Gandhi till I'm charged, then writing in my book of rhymes all the words that pass the margin. To hold the mic, I'm throbbing, mechanical movement, understandable, smooth shit that murderers move it, excuse me. Yeah, so I thought he started that first verse off very hard. I thought, writing in my book of rhymes. Yeah, for a guy that didn't finish school, this guy was a genius lyrically, and his vocabulary just, he definitely taught himself. I mean, maybe he did dope or whatever, sold dope or whatever, but just like he said, it's something he did not want to do full time. So he definitely Yeah, just reading that, and if I found out like he was just still doing this shit, like not giving a fuck or whatever, I would be pretty disappointed. I feel like that'd just be a wasted mind. So, and I just love the fact that he did something good. Just getting out of that lifestyle there. I mean, so that's what that explains to me a lot. And then going to the end of it, to everybody in Queens, the foundation, it's yours. The world is yours. Everybody uptown, the world is yours. To everybody in Brooklyn, Mount Vernon, he goes all Staten Island, South Bronx. So, very, very, very good song. I love the piano beating in it as well. I just wish I had heard it when I was a lot younger. I mean, I'm pretty sure Nas was on that up until like after he broke through, like got real popular in like '96. Just artist to not play on the West Coast. It wouldn't surprise me if he was. At least this album. I mean, I heard the it was written much later, and well, not much later when that came out, and that was all over the West Coast. But this one, I hardly. I don't think I've ever heard any songs on the radio. Yeah, I'm just being real with you. What was enough from me? What was your take on this song?
I liked it. I really liked the chorus, and particularly the part you just talked about where he's just specifically talking to groups of people in New York, and he's just telling them, the world is yours.
Mhm.
Um, I thought that's a really cool message because sometimes people can't see beyond, just the city that they've always been in or something. So I thought that was a really important message. I also liked when he said, thinking a word best describing my life to name my daughter, my
Mhm.
son, my strength, the star will be my resurrection. Because he doesn't even have kids yet at the time he's saying this,
Yeah.
but he would have the daughter and the
Yeah, that
son. So I
was
thought,
he kind of predicted the future there with that one. So
right, yeah. So I thought that I thought it was really cool, a really positive
yeah,
message.
yeah, definitely. All right. So now we get into our top three favorites, which wasn't very much to choose from. I'm not gonna lie to you; it was a very tough decision, though. But I guess I'll go first since I always have you go first. All right, my top three favorites. Two of them are singles, and two of them we already did discuss. So, let's see, going with um, "Life's a Bitch," "The World Is Yours." So two of those are the two singles, and then it was very close, but I think I'd be a fool if I didn't put "New York State of Mind" in my top three. It ain't hard to tell. It came very close. Memory Lane, Sitting in the Park. I gotta give that one a shout out. And Halftime was also a pretty catchy song too. I liked Halftime. But yeah, New York State of Mind, Life's a Bitch, The World Is Yours. Those are my three. What are your three?
So I had two of the same two singles, "The World Is Yours" and "Life's a Bitch" as
Hmm.
two of them. My other favorite was "One Love." I really
I
like
had a
that
feeling you were
song.
gonna like that song. I just knew it. I just knew it. I mean, if we're going back, some episodes back, we did E40s in a major way, and that was one of her favorites too.
Yeah.
You probably should. I know we haven't done Houdini yet, but when we do, I think you'll like them because that's the original "One Love" that they both sample, where it comes from. The L, the L, the L, the O, the O, the O, the V, the V, the V, the E, the E, the E. Since I'm on it, let's talk about that song first. What did you like about One Love besides the beat? It was a catchy beat. Q-Tip, he always kills it with his beats.
Yes, I like the he's kind of telling a story by writing a letter. There's some books I used to read when I was a kid. It was like entirely composed of letters back and forth to people, and they would tell you the story by writing to each other. So I liked how in verse one and verse two he's just writing to the two friends in prison, catching them up on the news that's going out. trying to tell them to like remain strong. And in the third verse, he's talking to a younger guy about, just wilding out. And he says, I had to school him, told him don't let niggas fool him, because when the pistol blows, the one that's murdered be the cool one. And I also like how he's talking about his kind of criticism of things that he thinks are like false facts perpetuated through the school system. He says, how can we exist through the facts written in school textbooks, Bibles, etc.? Fuck a school lecture. The lies get me vexter. I like how he said vexter right there, kind of like uh, subverting school ideology in a way.
Mm.
Uh, I wish he would have expounded on the lies. And I kind of compared it to the Miseducation, where the whole album is kind of about her having to re-educate herself about her relationships with others and God.
Uh-huh.
But here he's just directly talking about the educational system itself, which he has a lot of disdain for. I saw in an interview his dad encouraged him to drop out. His dad called
Yeah.
schools the killing fields,
Mm.
which, while I wouldn't encourage anybody to drop out, I think it is in some way true. It is kind of, it can kind of harm the spirit of a person to be in such a rigid structure and told, if you can't excel in this, then you're not really gonna make it, because everybody doesn't have the same. Like, look at Nas. Like, Nas is a brilliant, and he hated school,
Yeah.
but he's a brilliant guy. So I like that he was making those points. And I like the chorus. I have to admit that I liked E40's One Love better than this One Love,
Okay.
but this was my favorite. This was my favorite. One of my favorite songs on the album. And honorable mention to It Ain't Hard to Tell.
It ain't hard to tell. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it ain't hard to
Mhm.
tell. That was one of my honorable mentions. Yeah, that one and halftime honorable mentions. But yeah, going back to with the school system, just you know, you go to school and in the public school system, not everyone has the money to go to a private school or a Catholic school, whatever the case may be, boarding school, military school. So you go to a school in the public school system, and some kids, they excel, they try hard, and some kids out there just need some more help in terms of just their educational guidance. And sometimes you have the teachers out there that dedicate this, it's their livelihood, and they're just other educators out there, they're good, but some of them are just there for a paycheck. Let's just be real about it. And to those teachers, especially high school teachers, unfortunately, you're just another number. Like with some of these kids, they see kids as like a number, like making sure they come to school so they get paid, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. I think it is possible to get out. So I mean, it is what it is in terms of that.
Yeah, I think most people remember. You're gonna remember like the teacher that might have treated you poorly, and
Yeah.
but you'll definitely remember the ones that treated you well, and like like you were somebody.
Hmm.
That really means a lot. Like, I remember one of my teachers. She read the whole Harry Potter book to us like every day
Wow.
after recess. And
Yeah.
she did the voices and everything, and it was just so awesome. It's like one of my fondest memories, just listening to the Harry Potter book being read. This was like 1999, before the movies came out or anything.
Oh,
But a
that's
good
awesome.
teacher, it's priceless. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife's a big Harry Potter fan. Um,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, she would love you definitely. So, yeah, so yeah, one verse I did like in One Love before I go on to the New York State of Mind. The verse three. Sometimes I sit back with Buddha sack, minds in another world, thinking how can we exist through the facts written in school textbooks, Bibles, etc. Fuck a school lecture. The lies get me vexed, or so I be ghosts from my projects. So that definitely, it's like he's already like fuck a school lecture. He was kind of already done with it from early ages. You could kind of tell, like So I thought that was pretty, pretty just a little more just touching on his educational history in terms of what he had been through at school. So let's move on to New York State of Mind. The last one we'll talk about. Um, this was your favorite beat, right? Was it, or one of them?
What one of my favorites,
Yeah, I
yes.
love the. It wasn't my favorite, but I do love the. Doo, 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 doo. That was just me trying to mimic the beat. I thought that went hard. DJ Premier did a really good job. And then pretty much it was just some talking about New York state of mind and just where his mind was at the time um and then that's what I really got out of it. I love how he starts out the song rappers. I monkey flip 'em with the funky rhythm. I be kicking musician inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface sniffing cocaine, holding a M16. See the pen. I'm extreme now. So definitely talking about like his surroundings, that what he sees, growing up in Queensbridge, that sort of thing. So it was a good way to introduce the album. Well, I guess Genesis was technically the intro, but I mean, this is a good actual song to introduce the album to. I think goes very hard. Definitely one of the more popular songs on the album, if not the most popular one. And I mean, I already know he had 5 singles for this, but I was surprised this wasn't a single. I don't know. Maybe I think it could have been. Well, I think any song on here really could have been a single. I mean, it's a timeless classic. It's it's one of the best rap albums ever. So, I mean, that's what I really got out of it. Anything you want to speak on New York State of Mind?
Yes, similar to the last song we talked about, I think it was prophetic in a way too. When he says, "I'm taking rappers to a new plateau through rap slow. My
Yep,
rhyming is a vitamin held without a
yep.
capsule." I thought that was really cool. And in verse two, when he's talking about how he's just walking down the street and having dreams that he's a gangster, drinking moets and holding texts, and then he says, he's dreaming that he's winning gunfights with mega comps, but then he says, but just a nigga walking with his finger on a trigger. Like he kind of comes back to reality.
Mm.
Um, but I liked how he kind of discussed that imagery and those feelings. Um, but I thought it was a really good song too, and I think it probably should have been a single.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And, that definitely could have been a single, but that I mean that's the way they went. So what about it? So that it is what it is. So any thoughts on the music videos? I know there was 3 other ones. We hardly talked about them. I don't know if you wanted to say any words about them. I personally didn't care for them. I thought halftime was okay. The World Is Yours, great song. Didn't like the video too much. I think the black and white, as usual, just kind of turned me off. Like, yeah. But anything you wanted to say on
Yeah,
them before I forget? Or
there wasn't really too much going on in them. Kind of just in New York.
yeah,
Only thing I really noted is just how young he
yeah,
looked so young, and he still looks young today.
yeah,
But I mean that was a different kind of young.
yeah. He was more a kid when he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I would have to say of all the music videos, it ain't hard to tell was probably the best one. Yeah, The World Is Yours was okay. Halftime was all right. And then the other single, uh, uh, what was the last one? Uh, let me go outline. Oh, oh, One Love. Yeah, I didn't care for that. Yeah, I didn't care for that single either. But or
Oh, you know what?
video.
I actually like that video because it kind of it showed you like the inmate reading or yeah
Yeah.
reading the letter that Nas was sending them and it reacting to it, and they show you the young kid he's talking to in the third verse. And I guess I like how they kind of directly tell the story, and then they
Mm,
have like that twist at the end where the kid kills the baby mama from the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, that was kind of crazy.
But
That was a little, yeah. All right. It was a fire album. Any song you like the least on there, or if you had
um,
to name one?
I didn't have any that I was like I mean
It was a it was a great album. 10 songs. If I had to cut something, it would probably be Represent. But if I had to cut something, but I thought it was it was a great album. Uh,
yeah, it was pretty good.
all right. Let's see. So album cuts and expansions. This year does mark the 30-year anniversary of this album. I don't think anything has come out for its 30-year anniversary. So, but for the 10-year anniversary, there was a remaster edition which had some extra tracks on there. And then in 2014, Illmatic 20 or XX, I believe 20 Roman numerals to represent the 20-year anniversary. It was the album, and then like some more like unreleased material, but mainly remixes for the most part. So I don't think there was like any new songs. I have not had a chance to listen to any of it. So if it's good, let us know. But definitely if you want some additional listening, those would be the expansions, remasters, whatever you want to call it. Let's see recommendations. A few of these albums we discussed earlier at the beginning. The Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die. We discussed that back in episode number 2. So if you want to listen to our takes on that one, you can go check that out. Mob Deep's The Infamous. We talked about that on episode number 4. So if you want to check that one out, um, definitely go back to episode number 4. Let us know your thoughts there. And then Wu Tang Clan, Enter the Wu 36 Chambers. We have not discussed that yet, but it's coming soon. So be on the lookout for it. It's actually coming sooner than you guys think, but but I mean, all right. With that being said, closing thoughts. What are you taking back to your playlist? Um, so
I'm
let's sum it up.
I'm
Sum it up, Netta.
I'm definitely taking back One Love. I really love that. I would probably recommend it to anybody. I like that Nas views himself as almost not just he feels like he's not just expressing himself, but he's a reservoir for he wants to be a voice for people who've passed on who were there with him from the beginning. He said, "I represent my friends that didn't make it because they helped get me here. Their
Mm,
conversations, the things they told me, the things I told them, the things we survived, the things I lost. I rep all my guys that were there with me from the beginning." And he also says, I've been writing rhymes since I was 9 years old. I used to believe in it, but nobody around me believed in it. It's
mm,
straight from the heart, straight from the thoughts of what's going on in a young black man's mind. There are so many paths you can walk through. I walked through the one that blessed me, the one that gave me a chance to put my voice on wax and voice the anger, the hate, and the love. So I think it's really good. I like I like his frame of reference that he comes to this with, just not just trying to represent himself. So I think it's a good album.
yeah, definitely great. I wanted to say, besides my 3 favorites, New York State of Mind, Life's a Bitch, World is Yours, so I'll definitely take back. Halftime's a great song. Ain't hard to tell. One Love and Sitting in the Park. Those, it's a lot of Nas, but yeah, yeah, those are the songs I'd probably be taking back. Uh, and then, all right. So with that being said, great album. Great discussion. But what are your thoughts on this album? Let us know in the comments. What's your favorite track from this? For Netta, aka Wondrous Net, I'm Justin, Too Tall for Youthful, saying thank you for watching. Listen in 3D. We will see you on the next one. Later.